at the ongoing Africa Development Bank annual meeting in Lusaka, Zambia. Plans to add the 634 million Africans to the power grid have taken center stage. A report by Power for All suggests that rural Africa shouldn't wait to get into the grid, but integrate alternative energy generating avenues. Aaron Leopold is the Deputy Director of Global Advocacy at the Power for All, and he joins us right now from Lusaka, Zambia. Aaron, good afternoon. Thank you for making time to speak to us. How big a problem is lack of access to grid?
I think you said it yourself. I mean, 634 million Africans without energy services in the 21st century is simply unacceptable. And we all know it. And that's why the African Development Bank has also launched the New Deal for Energy in Africa. And our argument is basically that, the African Development Bank is an institution focused on big infrastructure, but the real solution for developing the energy infrastructure in the countryside are the small solutions that are coming online right now that are much more affordable and much quicker to deploy, which is the key thing in our view than big grids.
Aaron, this alternative grid that you're talking about, what shape or form will it look like? Is it mini grids? Is it alternative power solutions, independent power producers? What exactly does it look like?
Well, you have a suite of products, and that's the interesting thing about the decentralized renewable energy space, is that you can do a lot more kind of fit-for-purpose infrastructure. It's not just a transmission line and a cable to a household. It is solar irrigation, it is mini-grids, it is solar home systems for individual households and for businesses. So it's much more flexible, and that's also one of the challenges for the bank. Because you have an institution that is built on providing one-size-fits-all products. But we've seen 60 years of that type of lending, which has left us with the 634 million powerless Africans, which we know is unacceptable, and it's time for a change.
Well, Aaron, there's an ambitious target of ending energy poverty by 2030 or even 2025, but we both know an average power plant will take not less than 9 years to put up. Is this even achievable?
It certainly is, and the report that we've launched on decentralized renewables as the fast track to energy access is focused precisely on this point. So we've done cost estimates and timeline estimates along with the industry leaders in the decentralized renewable energy space that shows that for about the same amount of money, over the same 9-year timeline, just a few energy access companies or decentralized energy access companies can deploy basic levels of access, not grid levels of access, to about 15 million people for the same cost and over the same timeline that the World Bank or the AFDB would need to just electrify a few dozen thousand. And so this is the timeline issue is really the question here, because at the moment the decision makers at the national level, but also in development institutions around the world, are making a choice for people. And that choice is grid or nothing. It is either wait 9 years for the grid or that's it. And we know that in 9 years, 2025 has reached us. And this is the target universal access date for the African Development Bank's New Deal. So we know that without these projects already in the pipeline today, it's already destined to leave us in a similar situation to today unless we take a radically different approach. And this is why the decentralized energy... Please. Go ahead.
Aaron, final point. Let's talk about the money, because money is what anchors all this conversation. There has been talks about setting up super funds, just consolidating all development banks and helping them push funds across for the energy. Is this a conversation that development bank leaders are even willing to have?
That's a really good question, and we bring up the point in the paper that a super fund or kind of uniform and consolidated windows of financing across the banks are necessary, because there are a number of different places that companies and governments can get energy access funding. But the problem is that all of the methods and all of the requirements and all of the procedures for going to get this money are different at each and every turn. And this creates a huge barrier for companies who are trying to get access. They cannot learn 24 different rule books. It would be much more efficient and effective for everyone involved to have one set of criteria in one process.
Many thanks, Aaron Leopold. We'll leave it there. Aaron Leopold is the Deputy Director of Global Advocacy at the Power for All, speaking to us out of Lusaka, Zambia.